Alright, back at the shop here now. Get some parts made up. So this is the front brake caliper spacer. I wound up taking two of these big long ones here, right here, and I cut them down to two short ones. So our overall length between the two is 5/8 of an inch, which is what I was after. So you got the re-anodize to get rid of that little cutting lip there, but other than that it should work. The next problem, these bolts are 1/4 inch too long over here on the shank and almost a 1/2 inch too long here, so got to get a metric die to cut those down and cut them the length. We don't have time to get stuff made, buy stuff, so we just make it. I also got to cut down the head up here to fit in the caliper, but I'll wait on that until I see if these spacers are the right sizes, and if they are, then I'll continue on that. I got 4 more of these to cut down if we do. The other thing we're working on, getting back to the oil pan here. I'll dig up the rest of my parts here I made before. We got some new baffle plates made. They made them wrong, so they remade them. They lost the originals I already had cut, so I get to remake them. So, fun with other machine shops. So right now I gotta make this plate here. So we're gonna have to cut a groove over here to make room for the hose. You can see how the hose is above the ground, above the floor. So it's 3/4 of an inch down from the top is where we're going to put the hose at, because that's the distance from here to here, right over there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the milling machine over here. Cut this thing down 3/4 of an inch. Figure how far I want to cut it in, and then we'll see how close we are for a fitment. So I'm going to do that right now, and then we'll come back and show you what I did. Alright, I'm working on my dimensions here. Looks like I'm about 700 from the top down to the hose, and I'm 1.1 inches from the inside of the radius here, right over here, to the edge of the hose. So with my 720 cutter, that gives me an offset of 740, and the other one was 1060. So when you put those dimensions up there, we come up with what we need. Now those are center line dimensions, that's why everything's coming up that way. So you double check your measurements before you take them. So basically we come over 1.1 inches this way, right there, and we should be pretty close to what we want. Oop, hard to get there, you can see it. So basically we're about 1.1 that way. Pull it up a little bit. And we want it 700 this way. So we're about 700 this way. So that's how you come up with those numbers. And I'm just going to slot the thing right out to the edge, because there's no way of putting a hose to the center of the plate. We have this big nut here, so it has to be a slide-in application. So go ahead and cut this and see what we get. So this end mill, I don't remember if it was in cutting or not, so we'll have to figure that out too. And the width of the slot's going to have to be 830 is the hose, so we need about 810. This cutter is 720, so I have to calculate an offset to make it deeper. So I'll calculate that too. So for now, we'll go ahead and cut that out, see what we get. So I'm going to move this over about 5 thou that way. I should have just cut this thing straight in. So let's see what we get here. Cut that. This is 740, 727, 30, and 40. Yeah, we're still working, I think, on the radius of the cutter slightly, but if we did it correctly, we should come up with the right number. Whoop, where's my scale at? Right there. So you can see we're coming out pretty close to that 100 number we wanted. And it's hard to read in there, but bad light, bad angle, bad everything at this angle. But anyway, it's pretty close to that 700 number there if you get closer. I kick it over about 10 thou, so I'll cut that back. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that whole thing out, and I'll come back to you. It looks like I'm done. Okay, here's the baffle made. Looks like it fits on there relatively decently. I'll obviously have to slide this in, but for initial mock-up, it looks like it's in the right spot, pretty damn close. So that's good enough for now. So I'm going to go ahead and do the back one. I'm going to do the same thing. The dimensions will be different, but it'll be the same thing. So this one's going to drop down to the table height here. So we'll go ahead and make another one for this side, over here. So that one's going to be this one here. So that'll have to go right there. So that'll be the second baffle in the line here. Okay, working on our second baffle. This one here, we got a 3/16 filler rod to protect the hose from the sharp edge of a slot right here. This one here, obviously we didn't need it because the hose holds it away from it. So there's a gap in here. But with the floating hose, you got to pinch it, and back here it's going to be solid again, so I don't have to really worry about it. So this one here is the one we really need to have it in there. So I got basically got 950 from the top to here down to here, and then from coming out from here to here we had was it 900. So our end dimensions are going to be, we want to be 900 inward. So if you look at that, turn the stupid light off on this one. If you go on that, it should be 900 should be about there, and it's pretty much flush. And this other way, we want to be 950. So if you read that one, wherever I'm on the map, there I am way over here. We're going to be roughly in a 950 area. We're not on the edge of the cutter here, so I was guessing. So I'm going to go ahead and make a light cut, and then we'll measure it and make sure what we want. So to get those dimensions, we have to use those dimensions up there. So we want 540, and do some calculating to get to these numbers. So there's the one. That's where that math comes in again that nobody wants to do. Okay. Alright, cut her out of the way. So we want 950 this way. Was it 900? No, we want a 900. It's a good thing because we got 900. And we want a 950 on the bottom, which is right there. And you can see we're pretty close to that number right here. Pretty much right on it. So, so anyway, numbers help when you do it right. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this all the way through. Now this one here, we're only using the cutter size because we're only going to be going around the hose right here, which is the same size as our cutter, minus about 10 thou. When you're on the barb style right here, it swells out to 100 thou bigger than that, so we have to compensate for a bigger hose size. That's why this slot here was wider than what this one's going to be. So, same deal. Pay attention to numbers. They help. Okay, we'll go ahead and cut this away. Okay, I got the plate all cut, deburred, radiused off your edges here, so that it'll be smoother. And here's how tight it is on the hose. You got to push it on. So the plate stays where you put it. It's a nice snug fit. So this one will go right in here. Put it down. Okay, we're on top of the pan. So that's right where I want it to be. So there's that one. And I still have to cut the pin here to go in between, so I have not done that yet, so I'll have to do that yet. That'll be right in this dimension right here. So yeah, we got to make sure that's correct dimension also. For now, I'm going to leave that right there. So that's our first plate, our second baffle plate. Now we got a trap door we got to deal with. So now I got to take this one here, and I got to do the same measurement coming from the top here coming down. And this one here, we're kind of in the middle of the fat area, and the thin area, so it's going to be probably fat. So I'll have to figure out what that's going to be and put a cut right there. And then, let's see, do we have any, looks like that will just touch in there to hold it. So I'm going to put a pin in there so it'll at least take up some of the gap for the oil going back and forth. I want to try to keep oil in this cavity back here. So probably wind up putting a pin in there just to make sure it stays closed. Because it defeats the purpose of the trap door if you got the damn thing, big hole on the side over there. So I'll go ahead and work on that. And you can see how tight of a fit we had around here. Around this hose, it'll be the same cut. We just want to eliminate the damn light. We just don't want to have this big gap like this on the back side. So we'll have this rod sticking right in here to take that gap up. We can even do that on this one too. We might do that, slow it down a little bit. What the hell, we're in here, we can make them. Alright, so that's where we're at for now. I'm going to go ahead and do some measurements and we'll see what we got. Okay, we're figuring out the dimensions for this for the trap door one. Baffle here, so these are the numbers I came up with on this one. So we want 1 1/4 and 1/080. So here's our trap door. Here's what the groove's going to be. So we measure out 1/080 that way, and we're 1 1/4 deep this way. So I'll come in like that, and then we're going to have to just step it down a little bit to get our 820 width here. So this is 720, go down 100 thou to pick up the extra dimension for the wider oil line. And we cut into our dowel pin slot here, so we had to shorten the slot up, so now the pin only goes in from this one direction. So hopefully we don't hit it again. We'll see. If it hits it again, we'll do something about it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of it out and we'll come back. Okay, I get the last baffle made up here. Looks like I got my first mistake. Somehow I cut an extra 100 thou there, it looks like. Not sure what I did wrong there. Obviously it's wrong. So I'll have to go back and figure out what I did wrong. One of my numbers was off, obviously. Everything else is good, the size is good. It fits on here nice and snugly, so that's good. So I just gotta figure out what I did there. So I'm gonna go back, figure out what the hell the air is. Have to weld it up and then remachine it. So I would pick the hardest one to work with. There's one that screw up. But oh well. Things happen. We'll fix it. Alright, got the baffle back in here now. So this time I got to cut the correct direction. I mean the correct depth, excuse me. The problem was I put down 1/080 and it was 980. I have no idea why I put 1/080, but that's why I was 100 off, because I screwed up my numbers. So I just put the right number in there, same math, and came out correct this time. So anyway, we all screw up, I guess. So, alright, I got that all flattened out, it's sanded flat, it's on there nice and tight. The depth is good now. Probably back it off another 10 thou or so maybe, but not sure. Don't have it all assembled yet. So now I go ahead reassemble the door in here. And then these ones over here, I got to put my perforations in there. Which basically we're looking at something about like this. Get that damn light off. So I'm going to make a perforation pattern like that on the bottom of these plates here. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up so I can do that, and then I'll see what it looks like. And get this thing all finished up the rest of the way. Machine shop had it for a couple more weeks, and I've had it for 3 hours, and I got this much done. Oh well. Alright, so we're gonna, so right now it's gonna look like this in here. Yeah, put it back in the hole. Nice and snug. So anyway, we got our 3 baffles in here right now. We just don't have any oil flow going through each chamber. So that's what these perforations will be, these holes here. So, all right, let me get it all set up and we'll get to that. All right, I don't remember where I left off at. I've been working for a few hours here. Okay, we get all 3 doors in here, well, baffles and 1 door assembly. I just got done doing a bunch of holes here. It only takes about an hour to drill them at least, and another half hour to set them up. Yeah, about an hour and a half. So this is our perforated plate. So as you can see, yeah, whatever. See through it? So we can see through. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, water flows real good through it. I'm not sure about oil. Hopefully oil will flow a lot slower. There we go. So anyway, the first chamber can fill up full of oil and it'll go through there and the sloshing back and forth just to hold it down. I know there's some gap up here above the tranny, so it can overflow these baffles if it has to. It cannot overflow this back one though. So I'm gonna go look on the bike right now and see what that looks like. So time for a road trip. So anyway, that's what we get on that. And we got the brake stuff cut, so I go check it out too. All right, that's it for now.